Welcome to Beyond IIT. Today, I wanted to talk about the biggest problem that we have for engineering students in India, and that is that we just don't have enough engineering colleges. There just aren't enough good engineering colleges in the country. And my promise to you at the end of this episode is that you will think differently about your education institute, your choices around where you want to study and why. And hopefully, you will get to think about your plan B. What happens if you don't get into an IIT? Because the chances are that you will not. It's very, very likely that you will not get into an IIT. There are 8.5 lakh students who give the entrance exam every year, the JEE mains exam, and only a few of them get to give the JEE advanced exam, and even fewer of them actually get to study at an IIT because there just aren't enough seats. There are only 13,376 seats across 23 IITs in the year 2020. This is really, really tiny for a population of the size of India, and it leads to an unrealistic acceptance rate of 1.5% across all the 23 IITs. Now, if you wanted to get into a single IIT, then the acceptance rate is 1/20th of 1.5%. And that is ridiculous. That is just too low. Compare it to much better institutions like Harvard and Stanford and MIT and UC Berkeley or Caltech, who have amazing engineering colleges that are recognized around the world as bastions of engineering excellence, right? Everybody knows that they are the best in the world, and yet you can get into these colleges, without the level of commitment that you have to give to get into an IIT. And that's just not fair. It's not fair to you as a student. It's not fair to you as a population because it just has an unrealistic effort to reward equation, right? So if you look at the effort to reward ratio, if you put in a lot of effort for limited reward, then that's just not good enough, right? So if you try to plot how the government funded technical institutes and IITs compare against other established colleges like the ones I mentioned in the US, and I'm sure there are many in Europe also, then it just doesn't make sense. The effort to reward ratio is just too low, in the sense that you have to put in far more effort to get the reward that you would get if you get into an IIT than the effort you would have to put to get into an established international college, right? So think about that. Is it worth putting in 4 years of your life that you're never going to get back to get into a prestigious college to get a base degree? Because engineering is a base degree. There are many things you have to do over the course of a long career to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you or the reskilling that is needed as the world changes, right? So the reason why we don't look at these international colleges is obvious, right? It's because they are expensive. However, it is much easier to get a master's from these colleges like I did, without spending a lot of money. Many of the master's programs will give you access to international financial aid, and will hopefully you can complete a lot of those master's degrees for sure without uh, without paying a dime from your pocket or taking an educational loan. It is also possible to get uh, some level of financial assistance for an undergraduate college outside of India, which is good. And if you are as smart and you're able to get to study hard enough to get into an IIT, then you can easily do a great job in the SAT exam. You can easily get a good SAT score, or write a good recommendation, or get good recommendations for your international college applications. Also, private colleges in India are not good, right? However, there are some private colleges that are doing better, and every year there are new colleges who are thinking about an engineering education differently, and you need to make them a part of your plan B, because not only do they allow you to live a full 4 years of your life uh, from the 8th grade to the 12th grade. Instead of just being crammed in a room with books, you can actually understand yourself, understand your motivations, become a better human being, start to learn to work with other people, because those are skills that are really going to help you grow in the future. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't pursue an IIT degree, but I just want you to be realistic that the stacks are unrealistic. The stats or uh, the expectation that an ordinary student can get in, even extraordinary students can get into an IIT, is just not there because we don't have enough colleges. So we have to figure out which of these private colleges are good enough that they are worth the effort to reward ratio. That for a little bit of effort, you can get into a college that will help you get set up for your long career ahead, right? Like I mentioned in the previous episode, careers are only increasing over time, and the amount of reskilling needed is also increasing over time. So the key question for you is, what is your plan B? If only 1/20th of 1.5% of all applicants are going to get into an IIT of their choice and get a stream of their choice, then it is extremely unlikely that you will be one of them, right? So what are you going to do? What is going to be your plan B? So here are few tactics I want to share with you. One is increase your chances of getting in. Look at your ranking in mock tests. Look at what local government funded technical institutes in your state are good enough. Are you in the right state? If you're in Gurgaon, should you do your 12th grade from Delhi, because Delhi has more colleges that you can get into? Think about some of those things. Ask your teachers for their assessment of your current performance, because if you know, and they will know that whether you have a chance to get in or not, then they can advise you on what are the other alternatives that you can look at. If you don't if it feels unlikely to them that you're going to get in, then it is extremely important that you think about what other colleges are going to be worth it, because there are so many average engineering colleges in India. You just have to figure out which are above average and then try and at least get into them, and then set yourself up for success later. And then think about which colleges fit your aspirations. So do four things. Ask for an honest assessment of your chances of getting into a GFTI. Speak with students at GFTIs and private universities so that they can tell you how good they are. Are people able to find good jobs from these GFTIs? Understand the admissions process for these other institutes. Some of them may require you to give a JEE exam, like the BITS system of colleges. Some of them may not. Some of them may allow you to apply directly. And some of them may have a more longer, a more expensive process, especially when you think about colleges outside of India. And then list the private universities and international universities that you want to apply to. And if the international institutes seem out of reach for you because they are too expensive, think of getting a master's from those institutes, because it'll be cheaper and chances are you might be able to get in for free. So that's basically all I wanted to communicate in this episode. And there is a bunch more interesting information that's coming soon. So I'll let you get on with your day, and I hope that at least you get to think about the effort to reward ratio for the colleges that you're applying for, and see what truly makes sense for you today. Thanks.